The upper limb is quite unique as far as humans are concerned because we have achieved a position from the quadruped to the biped position. So thereby, in the lower animal, all the four limbs are used for locomotion. But in us, what we have done during the process of evolution, we have uh, got rid of our locomotory function of our upper limb, and they have become more manipulative in nature. So thereby, the upper limbs are free from weight bearing, and we can do so many functions. So when this has happened, there are so many modification which has happened in the upper limb, which include bone, muscles, so on and so forth. Now, upper limb is a part of a skeleton. If you remember when we did the skeleton, I said the skeleton is classified into two, that is your axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Clear? And in axial skeleton, we mentioned this is the one which will come into the midline. So here you got the example or the bone which forms skull, hyoid bone. Then you have the rib cage and the vertebral column. Correct? Yes? Yeah. So in the appendicular skeleton, we said it is made up of limbs. When I say limbs, it is both upper and lower limb and girdles. So girdle, both upper limb girdle and lower limb girdle, right? So limbs are upper limb, lower limb. Girdle for upper limb girdle, there you have called pectoral girdle, also called as a pectoral girdle or shoulder girdle.
Yeah.
Lower limb you got as a
Well, okay.
pelvic girdle, also called as
Hip.
hip girdle. Okay, fine. Now, since we are now what we are doing is we are doing here appendicular skeleton because we are doing the upper limb. So what we are starting in our osteology is appendicular skeleton. In appendicular skeleton, we are doing now upper limb. In upper limb, here it is made up of two parts. One is your upper limb is made up of bones which are forming, comprising bones of upper limb, and then we also have here girdle called as a pectoral or shoulder girdle. All fine? Okay. Now, so what are the bones what we have in the upper limb? Or before we move on there, what are the girdle? So what exactly is girdle made up of? Girdle is made up of, let me choose a black color. Okay. Girdle is made up of, you got a clavicle, a collarbone, and you got a flat bone called scapula. So both this makes up a girdle, right? And clavicle is very crucial bone because this is the bone which connects your free limb. So this is your free part of this. So free part of upper limb is connected to the axial. So thereby you can say the appendicular skeleton is connected to the axial skeleton in upper limb, and this connection is your clavicle. You agree with this statement?
Yeah.
Clavicle connects your axial skeleton. So here the axial skeleton, the free part, axial skeleton is your sternum, all the whatever the rib cage and all everything, and the appendicular is upper limb. So the upper limb is the free part which is connected to the axial skeleton by a bone called clavicle. So clavicle plays a major role in transmitting the weight of your upper limb or whatever you are carrying in upper limb to the axial skeleton. All fine. Now let us begin with the now there are bones I told you, shoulder girdle, this thing, same thing you have in the lower limb. You have that is a hip girdle or the pectoral girdle. Can you see me also?
Yeah.
You can see me also.
Hmm.
Okay, fine. Now, further, now just before I begin, let us talk about little bit about the what are the bones what we have in the upper limb. We will just introduce the bones of upper limb. Upper limb bones, what do we have here? So we got clavicle. These are all pair because right and left. So the pair of clavicle, then pair of scapulae, singular is scapula. Then you got pair of humerus, then pair of radius and ulna, and then you got your skeleton of fan. Now clavicle, the English name for clavicle is?
Bone.
English name of clavicle. Clavicle is a Latin name. What is the English name?
Collarbone.
Very good. Collarbone. Because here we have the collar of our shirt which lies on it, so thereby it is called as a collarbone. What is the English name of scapula?
The shoulder blade.
Correct. Shoulder blade. Because it is flat and it is like a blade which actually projects out at the back. That is why it is called shoulder blade. And the humerus is, in simple word, how do you say humerus to anyone? You will say it is a bone present in the arm. Correct? Arm portion, which extend between the shoulder joint and elbow joint. Radius and ulna, these are the bones of your, they are forearm bones. All fine?
Yeah.
This, the radius is the bone which lies on the thumb side. Thumb, that is the lateral
Thumb.
bone. Whereas the ulna is the bone which lies on the little finger side, that is your medial bone. Now, skeleton of hand itself is made up of series of bone. When you start from your wrist joint towards, you move towards the tip of the finger, it is made up of, from the first you got your carpal bones. There are 8 in number, arranged in 2 rows, 4 in each carpal bones. Then you got your a long, little long, miniature long bone called as a metacarpal bone. So how many carpal bones we have total? 8 carpal bones arranged in 2 rows. How many metacarpal bones?
10.
5 metacarpal bones.
5.
Yeah. And in front of the metacarpal or distal to the metacarpal bone, you have another miniature long bone. They are forming a skeleton of your fingers. You call them as a phalanges. Now, phalanges are, how many are there?
14.
14.
14.
So there are 3 in forefinger and 2 in your thumb. So total comes to
14.
14.
5.
3, 3, 6, 3, 9, 3,
Yeah.
12, 13 and 14. Correct? We have 14 in number.
14.
If we count the bone, what we have in upper limb, there is 1 clavicle, 1 scapula, 1 humerus, 1 radius and ulna. And in the skeleton of hand, you got 8 carpal bone, 5 metacarpal bone, and there are 14 phalanges. So thereby, what is the total you have? 14 plus 8 is, what is the total now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 bones are here. Here 10, 18. 18 is 28, 28, 32. The total 32 bones we have. Now these 32 bone, I am not including the sesamoid bones which you may have in near your thumb, some muscle, some more bones you may have. I am including the pisiform bone and all, but I am not including the other bone which may be present in the muscles of your palm. All fine till here? Okay, so let us begin now with your next bone, or we start with the main bone, and that bone will be your clavicle. Okay, so now clavicle. Now before we begin any bone, the first thing what we have to know is that for upper limb bone, this is what is required. This is some basic requirement.
So I'll get my clavicle 1 minute.
Come again?
So I'll get my clavicle 1 second.
Yeah, you can get it.
Yes, sir.
Show me your clavicle. Okay, good. Okay. So what are the requirement when we are doing the osteology? First requirement and foremost requirement is we have to orient or orientation. Orient ourselves with the how the bone lies in our body. So this orientation will give you what we call as a anatomical position. Correct? So when you
Yes.
orient the bone, the medial to medial, lateral to lateral, anterior to anterior, posterior to posterior. So when that orientation will give you the anatomical position of the bone. So anatomical position of bone in the body. So this is what is we get to know. First part of it with the orientation. And once we have the anatomical position, we'll be able to decide the side. So this is very important. Side determination of the bone. So usually side determination is required in the osteology only when the bone is bilateral, right? If the bone is bilateral, it is present on both right and left side. Then we need to know whether the bone belongs to the right side or the left side. Otherwise, the bone which are not bilateral bone, this question doesn't arises, but still the anatomical position remains same for all the bones, right? Orientation remains same for all the bone, but the side determination is only limited to your bilateral bones, which are the bones like your upper limb, lower limb, and you also have the ribs in the thorax, which are again right and the left. So there again we will have the side determination. And you also have the bones in your skull. So there also you got the right side and the left side. So right parietal bone, left parietal bone, then whatever bones are there, there are a right temporal, left temporal. So in the skull also, many of the bones are there which are right and left. So wherever we have the bilateral feature, we'll talk about the side determination. Otherwise, we mention only about the anatomical position. All fine. So now when orienting, it helps us to decide the side. So when we decide the side, we have to hold the bone in that particular side where it belongs, and then it will help us to explain about the bone to the examiner or to ourselves. Okay. So now we are starting with a bone called as a clavicle. Now, clavicle literally means key. See, those days the doors were very big, huge doors, something like you can imagine the era of Games of Thrones. The big doors, and so that big door will have a big lock. That big lock will have a big key. So those keys, if you look at those clavicle which you have in your hand, look like or it resemble as if it is a key of a lock. Quite a big key. So that's the literal meaning of clavicle. Is all that okay? Okay. Fine. So now clavicle is an example of which kind of a bone? Based on the shape. In introduction to bone, we mentioned the classification of bone based on the shape.
No.
Hmm?
No.
It's an example of modified long bone.
No.
Remember?
Hmm.
What was the other example I gave for modified long bone? Anatomy is easy, but it is very difficult to recall if you don't remember, read it then and there.
The intervertebral.
Yes, body of the vertebra. So what is modified here in this case? Why you call this as a modified long bone?
No medullary cavity.
Very good. So absence of medullary cavity. You need a prompter. So that should not happen. Since the medullary cavity is absent here, it is used the word as a modified. Okay. Now, so that is the example part of it. And there are some peculiarities are there as far as the clavicle is concerned. So these peculiarities is something uniqueness about the clavicle. Now, these peculiarities are many in number. So here the peculiarities can be, the first peculiarity, I'm just noting it down. This can be asked as a separate question in the exam or it is a viva question. So first peculiarity is, it is the only long bone which lies horizontally. And only long bone. So remaining all the long bones, whatever you know, They all are lying vertically. Yes or no?
Mm.
Now this is the only long bone which is subcutaneous throughout. So what do you understand by subcutaneous?
Near the skin,
It's just
just
beneath the
below the
skin and
skin.
you can feel it. You can feel the entire clavicle, whole of the clavicle. And it is the first bone to start ossifying in the body. You have so many bones, 206 bones are there. So the race begin with. So it's the first bone to ossify in the body. Ossify means the process of conversion from a
Cartilage to
to
bone.
a bone or a cartilage to a bone. Ossification. Now it is the only bone which ossifies or only long bone. So only long bone. Usually long bone do not ossify from the membrane. They ossify from the pre-existing cartilage. So this is the only long bone which ossifies in membrane. This is important and very interesting. Yes, so thereby you can call this as a membranous ossification bone. Bone formed because of membranous ossification. All fine.
Yeah.
Again, it is the only bone which has got two primary ossification center. Normally we say the primary ossification centers are the center which are formed
Mm.
before birth and through which you have the shaft formed by it. And usually every bone will have only one primary ossification center. But this bone is the only long bone which has got two primary centers of ossification. Now, one more uniqueness, though, which I told you, because of this reason we call it as a modified long bone. It is generally said said that it doesn't have medullary cavity, but this is not always true. This is important. Now I am modifying my statement. Till now I told that because of the medullary cavity, we are calling this as a modified long bone. Now this one, absence of medullary cavity is not always. So this is not always true. So some bones are there where you will have the medullary cavity also. And finally, the last seventh point, there are seven peculiarities are there. Occasionally, this bone, because this bone we are calling a subcutaneous, this bone is pierced by a subcutaneous nerve. So often, not always, but is pierced by a nerve called as the supraclavicular nerve. So nerve is passing above the clavicle. So it is pierced by just it is like this here. So from the neck region, the nerve come down all the way, and it pierces the bone, and it comes out from the other end. It goes from the back like a bullet, come from the front and goes down. So for this reason, this bone is also called as supraclavicular nerve. The name is because it is going above the clavicle. Usually the supraclavicular nerves are three in number. In the head and neck region will do. They come down like this. One is the medial supraclavicular nerve, intermediate supraclavicular nerve, and lateral supraclavicular nerve. So among all of these three supraclavicular nerve, they should actually go over the clavicle and they supply the skin covering the till the manubrium sterni or the Lewis angle. Lewis angle is a part where your manubrium sterni and the body of the sternum they meet or the second rib meets. So till there they supply the skin. Now what happens is among all these three nerves, the middle nerve sometimes instead of going over the clavicle and reaching the skin, it pierces the clavicle and reaches the skin. For that reason, the clavicle is also called as a dermal bone. Dermal, what is the meaning of dermal?
Skin.
Skin, right? So this can
Yeah.
be a skin bone also because usually a subcutaneous nerve pierces the skin. So here this bone is pierced by the nerve. So that is why you can also call this as a dermal bone. Is that all okay? Now continuing this uniquenesses, I told you this is the bone which received the upper limb weight via its lateral one third. So this is the entire bone. So the entire my upper limb weight is received by the lateral one third of the clavicle, and this entire weight is transmitted via the clavicle to your sternum and thereby to the axial skeleton. Right? So the weight is received by the lateral one third and is transmitted. So via lateral one third, the entire upper limb weight is received, and via medial one third, the weight is transmitted to the axial skeleton. Is that all fine? No problem. So those are the seven peculiarities what we have seen. Now, now we have to now start our actual osteology now. You see my blank screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so this bone lies horizontally. So clavicle has got there are ends are there and there is a intervening shaft. You following? You're awake? Okay. Now ends are, there are two ends are there. There is an end which is pointed towards a midline called as a medial line, and the end which is pointed laterally called as a lateral end, and there is an intervening shaft is there in between. So we will be dealing the entire clavicle under the medial end of the clavicle, lateral end of the clavicle, and the shaft of clavicle, right? So these medial end and the lateral end, they take part in the joint formation. So both of these will be articular. When you say articular, what do you understand by articular? They will take part in the joint formation. Whereas the shaft, so when you say joint formation, it should have a facet, articular facet will be seen at this end, facet, plus the margin of this will give a rise or attachment to the capsule of the joint. In addition to this, you may also find the attachment of the ligaments. Now, this intervening shaft, right? So this intervening shaft, again, it has got, some part has got surface, or I can divide this intervening shaft. I'll again do all this on the bone. I'm just giving the introduction. The intervening shaft is divided into a medial 2/3 and a lateral 1/3. Medial 2/3 is cylindrical, whereas the lateral 1/3 of the shaft is flat. So when any object is flat, it will have borders and surfaces. When any object is cylindrical, just like a cooking cylinder, you don't have any border. So here the borders are absent, but it is rich with surfaces. So now these surfaces and the border, all of this will give attachment to your muscles or some ligaments. So we'll be talking about this in detail. This is all okay so far, right? So now can you see my change of screen?
Yeah.
This is what is the Netter atlas I was talking about. So this is here. So from the top view, what we are noticing. Okay, so that's your clavicle, and the only way I can actually scribble on this is when I take a snapshot. Okay. Now this end is what you call as a. Can you see the labeling what I'm doing? Yeah. So this is your medial end. This is the medial end of clavicle. Same way, this is your lateral end of clavicle, and in between, whatever you are seeing, that is your shaft of the clavicle. All fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Now with this picture, I would like to go to the actual bone now. And how do I do that? I have a camera. Now this is what I call as a bone camera. So there is a unique bone camera I use. Now I'm changing my screen to a. Now can you see the screen has changed to something else now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you see a bone which I kept on this now? Okay. So now, okay. So now, so that's a clavicle now. How do we look at this now? So now you can still see my face also, and you can see the screen, both of this, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do we? I said the bone, first we have to orient ourselves with the bone. So the bone has got two ends. So there is one end, definitely when you look at this end, two ends are there. We have to define which is medial, which is lateral end. Then there is a shaft in between, what we are seeing in between, correct? So a medial end is broad, lateral end is flat. Now when you look at the bone, you see both the side of it. So when you see this side and when you see this side, you can very clearly make out that medial end is quite broader. So this is the medial end there. And whereas this is the flat part, so this should be a lateral end. So now I'm holding the bone like this. So this bone, you can see now, it can belong to my left side or it can belong to my right side. Because in both the way, I can turn the bone in such a way where the medial end, I have to keep it medially. So this is medial, this is lateral. So medial is broad, lateral is flat. Here also I can do the same thing. Still I'm not able to decide the side. So that means I need some more features to decide the side of the bone. Now I get back to this again. Now you see the shaft which is there in between, the intervening shaft, it is sinusoidal. What do you understand by sinusoidal? S shape. It is curvy.
Yes.
So in this you see the medial two-thirds. Since I am calling this as a medial end which is broader, so the medial two-third of the shaft is cylindrical, whereas the lateral one-third of the shaft is flat. You can see it is flat portion, whereas this one is a cylindrical portion. This entirely. So it's somewhere here till here. I can, if I possibly mark this. That is the demarcation of your medial end and the lateral end. So medial two-third. This is your medial two-third, which is cylindrical, whereas this is your lateral one third, which is your flat. All fine.
Mm.
Now, when you look at this part of it, so medial two-third of the shaft is convex anteriorly, whereas the lateral one third of the shaft is concave anteriorly. So when you keep these two features, so it is here convexo-concave from medial end to the lateral end. Convexo-concave from medial end to the lateral end. All okay? So when you keep this feature in mind, now you see. If I come to this part of it, so when I keep this way, medial end is broad, yes. Lateral end is flat, yes. The intervening shaft should be curvy, it should be convexo-concave. So medial two-third is, you see, this is your convex and this is concave. So when I put here, it looks like it is satisfying this criteria. So let us try to put the same thing on this side. The moment I go this side, and if I put in the same way, here you see the lateral end. So lateral end I put it on the lateral side, medial end I am putting on medial side. But it has become reverse. Now you see, it is your concave or convex. What I should have? Convex or concave. So thereby that's how you can decide the side. You got it? So tell me, what is the side determination of your bone?
Right.
Show me. Or put it in an anatomical position. Like this.
This one there.
Okay. So still you are holding the bone something like this. So you have to hold. So there is one more feature, one more point I can add. Wherein, look at the, now this is again the bone. Now look at the inferior surface of the bone. Now this is whatever you are seeing. How do I define which is inferior? This can be inferior or this can be inferior. The inferior surface will have a dotted line or a groove. Inferior surface will have a groove. I don't know whether you can make out. In your bone also you'll be able to see this.
Yeah.
Can you see a groove? You rub your finger, you will be able to make out. Both side you rub. On one side you will find some depression. That is the inferior surface. No?
This side.
Yeah, correct. That's the one. So that is inferior surface. Now, since I am calling this as inferior surface, now you put the bone in anatomical position. See, so that is inferior. So I am keeping this dotted line inferiorly. So this inferior surface is this dotted line which I marked. This is your subclavian groove, which I just marked. So subclavian groove is located on the inferior surface, and the medial end of the clavicle is broad, quadrangular, lateral end is flat, and the shaft, intervening shaft from medial to lateral is convexo-concave. So when I keep all these features in mind, the bone belongs to the right side, and this is the way you hold the bone in the right hand to the side which it belongs, and that's an anatomical position. Now hold the bone on your, you should hold this one inferiorly. Your subclavian groove should come inferiorly. Now hold the bone, I want to see the bone on your body. Okay, now hold it. It should go to, see, now I'm holding the bone on my body, you see. The bone belongs to the right side. This is the medial end. This is the lateral end. This is your convexo-concave. And this is my inferior surface. So all this I am able to demonstrate. Now you demonstrate the same thing on your bone. I should see the bone on your collarbone. I cannot see the bone. You show me the bone on your body. First you get the medial, you got the medial end of the bone?
Yeah, like this only there.
Correct. And that is the lateral end. Now you put the bone in the convexo-concave, the shaft. Convexo-concave.
Okay. So
It's okay. You take your time. No hurry.
You kept it like this.
You see, I have another bone also, which is left side. Now you see, this
So
is the
like
left
this.
side of the bone. This one is the right side bone. If I put it this way, I use little. Okay.
So this one.
This is your right side. This is your left side. The white bone is right, and this is the left side. So in this also, here I can call this end. You see, this is the medial end which is broader. This is the medial end which is broader. This is the lateral end. So if I just want to put anatomically like this, unfortunately both bones won't come. That is slightly I'll put it. Okay. So this is the medial end. This is the medial end. This is the lateral end. This is the lateral end. So this is your convexo concave. Here also you can see in this case convexo concave. So now show me your bone. Show me the bone. Okay. So whether it is
So
a,
like this.
come a little closer. I cannot see the bone.
Like this.
Okay. Show me the lateral end. Okay, that is the lateral end. Show me the medial end. Medial end. Okay, lateral end. Lateral end I am not able to see. Show me the lateral because I cannot make out lateral. Okay, lateral is flat, medial is this. Okay, got it. And now you have to get the medial 2/3 is convex. Medial 2/3 is convex, this part. So that is concave, I think, when you're holding that way. That is concave, right? Now yeah, you have to move it in the forward direction. You're keeping it this way. You keep it in the forward way, okay? And show the lateral 1/3 as a concave. Fantastic. Okay, now show me the subclavian groove. Okay, now put the subclavian groove inferiorly, medial and medially, lateral and laterally. Now put where it belong now. Put the bone where it belong in your body. Is it a right bone or left bone?
Right.
It's actually a left bone.
Oh.
Show me the medial end because your medial end I'm not able to see. I want to see whether it is right or left. That is a medial end.
This.
And show the lateral end to me. You show me like this. See, I show me this way.
Okay.
So now this way.
So
Put the
medial
bone
end.
like this in front of the camera. The entire bone. Both ends. Both ends. I'm not seeing both the ends. These are ends. I can see only one end now. Both ends mean this end and this end. When I see both ends, then only I can. Yeah, show me.
I can't see myself. So.
Because you're using this. Okay, now show me what is the lateral end. Show me which is the lateral end. Point out with your finger. Oh, you are actually doing it wrong. So that is the medial end. Just observe carefully now. The medial end is broader, lateral end is flat. Now you hold this. See, like this you put it. So now you see look at this one. Now this is flat. It is something like the bone is kept here and it is pressed like this. So then it is a flat. Now see the medial end. It is quadrangular. Now you show me which is your medial and which is your lateral in your clavicle. You got the medial and lateral. So medial end is usually broader. Correct. That is your medial end. Show me the lateral. Lateral. Good. Now since medial and lateral is correct, now put the bone in your body. Medial pointing medial, lateral pointing lateral. Like this. You see. This is the medial is broader. Lateral is this. So both way I can put. Now medial 2/3 of the shaft should be convex anteriorly. Now show me.
Like this.
Yeah. Lateral 1/3 is flat, I mean concave anteriorly. So hold the bone in the left hand because it belongs to left side, right? Your bone belongs to left side. Hold the bone in the left hand and go towards your collarbone. Okay, now see the subclavian groove, is it pointing inferiorly? Subclavian groove, this groove, you see? This groove should be inferior. Is it inferior? Correct. Now hold the bone in this way so that I should see that you are putting it correctly. See, the end should not go down. So medial end should be exactly in the here in the midline. Both the ends should be at the same plane. No, you hold it in this way so that I can see. No, hold it wherever, whichever way you're holding the hole in a way. Okay, now put it back. Subclavian groove here, see, anteriorly, see it, anteriorly it should be convex. You have to hold the bone in such a way that convexity should face anteriorly. And lateral 1/3 concavity should face anteriorly. Do we have convex or concave the entire anterior aspect? Yes. You see, you may be holding the bone like this, which is wrong.
Okay.
Because that way I am saying anteriorly means something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it? Anteriorly, very clear cut. See it. Now you see the bone. I am coming very close to you. So this one you see, anteriorly it is convex, and again lateral part is concave. You see, I am going in depression and coming like this. If you hold like this, it is wrong. So I am not saying superiorly it is convex. I am saying it is anteriorly it is convex. Right? So how do you know anteriorly it is convex? Because at the same time posteriorly you will get the concavity. Do you have that exactly concavity posteriorly? Then you see here. This entire thing is here, this portion. It is convex. This is concave. So this part is your anterior, this one. This is anterior. And maybe I can keep, the next time I'll keep some anterior posterior already written here. It is A is not seen very clearly. This is anterior. Same way here you got back side, you got, this is posterior. You are seeing through the phone, right? I can imagine how small screen it is, and see, this is the difficulty. Until unless you shift to something bigger screen, this all will make it more difficult. Okay. So then now you show me again, put the bone in your body, show me. It doesn't matter even if we do only clavicle today's class. I want you to get oriented. Okay, now put it, show me. Now you see, I am holding the bone in such a way. See, this is anterior. See, look, this is how the bone.
Just.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, you have to hold in such a way. You see, this way. You're holding it like this, I believe. I'm holding it this way. Yeah, correct. Now you go to the collar. So is anteriorly convex? Is anteriorly convex? And your laterally it is concave in the anterior aspect. Now, look for the subclavian groove. Is it inferior or superior?
Inferior.
Okay, now you put it back. Now, just you see, show me like this, the bone towards the camera, and then go back in your body. Now again come forward, show the bone to me, full bone. Like this, show me the medial end. Medial end. Okay, show me the lateral end. Okay, show me the anterior surface. Hold it in the left hand, I mean right hand, in your right hand. Hold the bone in right hand and use the left hand to show me the anterior convex or concave.
This part, right?
Convex is the medial two-third is convex from the medial end, and your lateral
Yeah.
one-third is concave. Can you show me this? Yeah? Okay. Now twist it, show me the inferior surface with the subclavian groove. There is a
This,
subclavian groove like this, the way my groove is shown. You have a groove there.
yeah. This one.
Can you feel it? The only way is you by run the finger, you can feel the groove.
Yeah. This
Okay. So the bone belongs to which side?
left.
Left side. So now this is clear. My bone belongs to right side. Suppose if I take my another bone, now this is the bone which is similar to your bone. Now you see here, if I keep it like this. So this one is the medial end which is broader. This is the lateral end which is flat. Lateral end which is flat, medial end which is broader. And here you can see this one is your convex. If I see here, the entire part is your convex medial two-third and concave lateral one-third. Now inferior surfaces, I go down here and here the inferior surface is there and this one is here. Cannot very prominently see. That is just subclavian groove what we have inferiorly. Is that okay? So this is my left bone. This is my right bone. See both left and right I am holding it. Both are medial is the broader end. All okay? Fine. So you will not be having confusion. Don't worry. There is nothing like you're taking long time and all because this is first is it is not a physical class. If physical class was there, I would have come to you and I would have shown like this it is. So clavicle is a horizontal bone, it takes time. Other bone will not take time. So don't worry. It's all fine. Okay? So side determination is clear. So today when you go there, if you can see some bone or some student, any bone is there with the student and all, just take the bone and you try to determine the side. You should be able to get these points very clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I move further now. So now we know the medial and lateral end. We know the intervening shaft, medial two-third of the shaft. You can see now the medial two-third of the shaft is medial two-third of the shaft is cylindrical, whereas the lateral one-third which is exposed is a flat. So first we'll talk about let's talk about first about the ends of the clavicle. So first we start with the medial end of the clavicle. Let's start with the medial end. So medial end of the clavicle is quadrangular. It is broad and it has got a, see this one is the entire thing. If I see, this is entire portion, whatever I'm marking. This entire thing is your medial end. Yeah, medial end of the clavicle. You see, in comparison to the lateral end, which is flat. This is the lateral end. Yes. Now we start with the medial end again. So medial end, I was telling that it is quadrangular or broad and it is articular. So medial end, since it articulates with the sternum. So can I also call medial end as a sternal end?
Yeah.
Same way, the lateral end, if you see, this usually articulate with the clavicle. Lateral end will articulate with the acromial process of the scapula. So this will be seen in a while, but let me show you. Now this is your scapula. You can see here, this is a scapula.
Yeah.
This is your acromial process of the scapula.
Yeah.
So your lateral end and acromial process of the scapula, they both articulate like this. So thereby, this is your lateral end. Medial end is to the clavicle. Lateral end is under my thumb. It is articulating with the acromial process of scapula. So thereby, you can call the lateral end as a acromial end. Medial end as a sternal end. All okay?
Yeah.
Let us go back again to the medial end. So medial end, as I told you, it is broad, quadrangular, and it is articular. So it articulates one bone is what it is articulating with the sternum. The sternum is a big bone. So which part of the sternum it articulates? So with the sternum, it is articulating with. You can see here it articulates with the sternum to one part called as a manubrium. Manubrium. So again, I will show you that in the iPad. Again and again, I don't want to do that. Once I finish the bone, I will go back and show. So it articulates with the part of the sternum called manubrium sterni. Right? And thereby it forms a joint. What will be the name of the joint? Sternoclavicular.
No clavicle. Yeah.
Clear? So apart from that, not only this, the medial end is also articulating. So one joint it is forming. So the lower part. So here you can see, I can show you a picture where the book osteology book by Indibar Singh. Now look at this image now, this part. So this is what is your medial end here, right? Quadrangular. So in this, the majority of the area, most of the area, almost this one, is called sternal facet because it articulates with the manubrium sterni. Then this is the superior aspect, which is rough. This is the inferior aspect. So there are a minor superior aspect and a minor inferior aspect. But majority, 2/3 of the bone of the medial aspect, medial end is articulating with the sternum. So this we call sternal facet. Whereas the superior aspect, what you see, so this area is giving attachment to a ligament. Now this ligament is called as a, because this ligament connect one right ligament with the left ligament. You see this is one ligament here and this is another ligament there. So both the ligaments are like this and it is a bridging between both the ligament. So this we call as an interclavicular ligament. So interclavicular ligament is attached to the superior surface of the medial end to the superior surface of the other medial end. Are we clear? So this we call as an interclavicular ligament. So interclavicular ligament is something, a bridge between the two clavicle. And not only that, here I told you this is forming a sternoclavicular joint. So here it may also give attachment to, in this joint you may have an articular disc. So a disc and the ligament is attached here. Now come to the inferior part of it, lower area. Here you can see. The lower area is giving attachment to the first costal cartilage. So that means the cartilage of the first rib. You have the first rib immediately beneath it and the rib will have the cartilaginous part medially. So the cartilage of the first rib attaches to the clavicle into the inferior aspect of the medial end of the clavicle. Is that okay? Now, the third and the final thing, the margin of this facet gives attachment to the capsule of the sternoclavicular joint. Following, Trisha?
Yeah.
Okay. So now again you see here. So medial end we are saying, sorry. This is the medial end. So again, I have to do it here. Okay. That's the medial end. Now I told you medial end is, this is the bigger portion. And this one is, suppose if I say this is the superior part, this is the inferior part. So majority, leaving the small portion above and leaving the small portion below. The entire area is articulating with the sternum. So this you call as a sternal facet. This upper part is articulating with the two things, or it is attaching to the two, one is to the ligament and other is to the articular disc. The ligament is your interclavicular ligament. So this is giving attachment to the, okay, I have to do it here. So this is your superior, this is the inferior. This is giving attachment to the ligament. The ligament is your interclavicular ligament and to the articular disc. Inferiorly, it is giving attachment to the cartilage of the first rib. So cartilage of the first rib. So cartilage, rib is called costal. So you call first costal cartilage. Is that okay? Rest of this area is giving attachment to sternum. In addition to this, the margin, all this margin is giving attachment to the capsule of the sternoclavicular joint. That is all about medial end. Any problem? Now, we go to the lateral end now. So lateral end of the clavicle is flat. We already mentioned it is flat and it is simple again here. So if you notice here, the lateral end is bearing again a smooth facet. The small area where L is written, it is smooth. So this will articulate with the acromial fossa of the scapula to form the acromioclavicular joint. Clear? So that is the lateral end of the clavicle. Okay. So that's about your lateral end. Now in addition to this, so the lateral end is done. Now let us move on to the shaft now. Is it okay? All this is fine so far? So let us talk about the shaft now. First we start with the medial two-third of the shaft, which is cylindrical. So whenever any object is cylindrical, like for example, this marker pen is cylindrical. So when you say anything is cylindrical, it will not have borders. It will have only surfaces. Whatever is in the front, you call anterior, posterior, superior, and inferior. Right? So now here, when I look at this one, so you got here, this one will be here. This is the part which is facing front. So this is your anterior surface. Opposite will be your posterior surface. This is the superior surface. And if I lift it up and when I put the finger down, this is the inferior surface. Is that okay? So thereby the medial part of the shaft has got an anterior surface, posterior surface, superior surface, and inferior surface. So what is attached to the anterior surface? So anterior surface give attachment to the pectoralis major. So pectoralis major is a muscle, a chest muscle, a bulky muscle. So pectoralis major. So this we call clavicular fiber of the pectoralis major. All of it. Then you come back to the superior surface. A superior surface is only towards its medial end, not the other part of it because it's subcutaneous. Only towards its medial end, the superior surface give attachment to the sternocleidomastoid. Another muscle you see, this is the muscle what we have, like this you see. Now when you see this muscle coming, standing out, curve the muscle.
Yeah.
So this is what we call clavicular end. So clavicular end, so the sternocleidomastoid. So the muscle has a sternal, the word cleido means clavicle. So it take origin from the sternum, it take origin from the clavicle, muscle goes obliquely upward and inside to the mastoid process. That is why it is called sternocleidomastoid. So thereby, superiorly here, it gives attachment to your sternocleidomastoid. So anteriorly it was your pectoralis major, superiorly towards the medial end, it is your sternocleidomastoid. Now you go posteriorly here. So this is the posterior concave part of it. So in this also, only in the medial part now, close to the medial part, somewhere here. It gives attachment to another muscle called sternohyoid. Now there is no clavicle word in it. So the majority of this muscle actually attaches from the sternum which is lying medial to it. But some fiber will take origin from here, that is the reason. So sternohyoid is taking origin from the medial end of the posterior surface of the medial two-third of the shaft of clavicle. Is that okay? So this was your pectoralis major. Clear? So this one was your sternocleidomastoid, that is superior surface. Now this one is your sternohyoid. And inferiorly if you go, inferiorly it doesn't give attachment to any muscle, but it gives attachment to the ligament. So you see there is a rough area is there here. This rough area, can you make out this rough area? So this give attachment to a ligament. So this ligament is called as a costoclavicular ligament. Costo means costal, means ribs. A ligament which is starting from your clavicle and going to the first rib. So that is why you call costoclavicular ligament. Remember, I told you on the medial surface here, lower part is giving attachment to the first rib cartilage. So this is giving a support by giving attachment to the ligament. So medial end is a joint and inferior surface of the shaft is to the ligament. So the ligament is costoclavicular ligament. So thereby again to revise, so you can see, so anterior two-third, you got pectoralis major, superiorly on the medial side sternocleidomastoid, posteriorly you got medial side sternohyoid, inferiorly you have a rough area which gives attachment to your costoclavicular. Costo means ribs. So which rib? It is the first rib. So costoclavicular ligament. Are we clear with this? Now, this was the medial end of the inferior surface where only ligament is attached. Now come laterally. So that means the lateral end of the medial surface, can you see there is a groove? The groove is called as a subclavian groove, and this margin which I have drawn like this margin of the subclavian groove gives attachment to the upper end of the clavipectoral fascia. There is a fascia called as a clavipectoral fascia. So imagine that is a curtain. So curtain will hang to the top. So this is the top hanging of the curtain, and name of the curtain is clavipectoral fascia. Is that okay? And within this, you see this area where I put this. So this groove will give an attachment to your subclavius muscle. That is why the groove is called subclavian groove. So the margin of the subclavian groove gives attachment to the clavipectoral fascia, whereas the gap enclosed within the subclavian groove gives attachment to the subclavius muscle. The name itself, you see, sub means below. Clavius is clavicle. So the muscle is attaching from the beneath the clavicle. That is why it is called subclavius muscle. All okay?
Yeah.
So we got all the muscles, everything. So there was one ligament we came across, that is a costoclavicular ligament. We came across one fascia, that is your clavipectoral fascia. Rest of them all are muscle. So pectoralis major anteriorly, sternocleidomastoid superiorly, sternohyoid posteriorly, inferiorly you got costoclavicular medially, but the laterally you got your clavipectoral fascia and with the subclavius muscle. This finishes your medial end. Now go to the lateral end now. The lateral end is flat. It is something like the clavicle was there on the floor and you got up from the sleep and you went towards the kitchen to drink water and you stamped it. So what happened? The leg was on the lateral part of it, so it became flat. So lateral end is flat, medial end is cylindrical. So when lateral end is flat, so anything which is flat, what will happen? It will have borders and surface. Now you see. So this one is your anterior border. And this one is your posterior border. When you make out, please feel the border in your bone. You run the finger like this.
This part.
And here. Yes, that is the one anterior and the back is your posterior. Anterior border is your concave. You see anterior border is concave anteriorly, whereas the posterior border is convex posteriorly. Now, these two borders are separating. Here, this one is your superior surface. And this one is your inferior surface. How do I know inferior surface? See, there is a subclavian groove on this side. So that is the inferior surface on that side. Correct? Now, coming back again, anatomical position. This I am calling as an anterior border, right? So anterior border gives attachment to deltoid. The muscle, the border is giving attachment to a muscle called deltoid. This we call clavicular head of deltoid. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you come to the superior surface. Now, superior surface doesn't give attachment to any muscle. It is subcutaneous. So now I want you to use your finger in your own body and just trace it all the way. The clavicle go from here and go to the lateral end of its superior surface. You will be able to feel it. If there was a muscle, you would have not felt it.
Yeah.
Got it? So thereby the superior surface of the clavicle is subcutaneous. Now, go to the posterior border of the lateral 1/3 of the clavicle. This is the posterior border. This gives attachment to the trapezius. So you see this muscle, back muscle here you see. In the picture you see myself. So this is the trapezius. So trapezius clavicular origin is from the posterior border. So anterior border is deltoid. Superior surface is subcutaneous, no muscle is attached. Posterior border is
Trapezius.
trapezius. Very good. Now let us go to the inferior surface. Now inferior surface you will see there are two things that are happening here. There is one tubercle here. Little close to the medial end. Can you see there is a big tubercle is there here?
Yeah.
You can feel the tubercle in the bone also, inferiorly. It will be close to your subclavian groove.
This. Right?
Yeah, that is the one. Yeah, you cannot miss that out. So inferiorly.
Yeah.
So that tubercle is called as a conoid tubercle. Conoid. See, it is like a cone.
Okay.
And from the same tubercle, please notice carefully, there is a trapezoid shaped groove is going. Feel it there. The groove is going laterally towards the lateral end. This is the lateral end. A groove is going. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Conoid
This
tubercle
part.
medially. Just get the tubercle, medial tubercle,
This part.
that's the tubercle. And now run your
This.
thumb. See, once you get the tubercle like this,
Yeah. 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 There's
run your thumb.
this.
Then you will feel the groove. Because not all bones will show the impressions very clearly. You have to depend on your sensory information. You run the thumb, you will get a trapezoid shape. So this we call trapezoid ridge. So this elevation is called conoid tubercle. This ridge is called trapezoid ridge. All okay?
Yeah.
So inferiorly you got two elevation. One is a cone-like called conoid tubercle. Other is a ridge called trapezoid ridge. Now both these will give attachment to a ligament. This we call as a coracoacromial ligament. So this is called conoid part and the choroid part of coracoclavicular ligament. Now, what is the coraco? Coraco word comes from the word coracoid process. Now, you see, this is your scapula. I'll be talking about it in the next class, possibly, or we can start today only. This is what we call acromial process. This bent finger is what we call coracoid process. Now, you see, if I
Yeah,
put
yeah.
an anatomical position like this, so what is happening? You see, in this case, you see. Now, you see myself, not the bone camera. See here. So, in this case, what is happening if I hold like this? So, there is a this is the acromial process. This is the lateral end of the clavicle. This is the coracoid process. Now from the coracoid process to the inferior surface, where I showed you the conoid tubercle and the trapezoid ridge. So from here, imagine a ligament which is a Y-shaped ligament which is attaching to this part, conoid tubercle and the trapezoid ridge, to Y, and they both meet and they form a single arm, and it attaches to the coracoid process. So since the ligament is attached to the coracoid process and the clavicle, you call this ligament as a coracoclavicular ligament. So coracoclavicular ligament is a ligament which is attached to the inferior surface of the lateral end of the clavicle and to the coracoid process of scapula. Now this ligament has got two parts, a conoid part and a trapezoid part. A conoid part is attached to the conoid tubercle, a trapezoid part is attached to the trapezoid ridge of the clavicle. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Clear this is? Yeah?
yeah, yeah, got it.
So again you see, anteriorly what we had? Anteriorly was
Deltoid,
very good. Deltoid. Superiorly,
superior, uh,
subcutaneous. No muscle was attached.
yeah, and
Posterior
posteriorly
border,
are trapezius, trapezius.
trapezius. Now inferior surface you see, there is a medially conoid tubercle which is located more posteriorly. You see, if this is like this, see you can actually see if I turn like this, posteriorly on the inferior surface is the conoid tubercle.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas the anteriorly on the inferior surface is your trapezoid ridge. So both these give attachment to your coracoclavicular ligament.
coracoclavicular.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
So this finishes your clavicle. Starting osteology will take time. Once you get used to this, you will not take time. So I'll give a
yeah,
very quick review of what we have done in next 2 minutes. Okay. So clavicle is the only horizontal bone which lies horizontally in the body. It has got a medial broad quadrangular end and lateral flat end, and it has an intervening shaft. The shaft is curvy or sinusoidal in shape. So it is facing from medial to lateral. It is concave or convex or concave.
yeah,
To decide the side of a bone, hold the bone, the medial end should be broader and lateral end should be flat. And your medial two-third of the shaft should be cylindrical and it is convex anteriorly. And the lateral one-third of the shaft is flat and it is concave anteriorly. Inferior surface of the shaft is bearing a groove called as a subclavian groove. When we keep all this point in mind, we will be able to decide the side of the bone. And so my bone belongs to the right side. Now let us talk about the ends. First is the medial end. The medial end is also called as a sternal end. Lateral end is also called as a acromial end. So medial end is the sternal end, which is quadrangular and quite broad, and it has got three parts. The central portion is articular facet, which articulate with the manubrium sterni. You call that as a sternal facet. Whereas the upper part, the superior part of this facet, gives attachment to the clavicle, called as the interclavicular ligament, and also to a disc called articular disc. Whereas the inferior surface gives attachment or another joint to the cartilage of the first rib. So this we call as a costal facet for the cartilage of the first rib. So this is the second joint. Thereby you can say the medial and articulate with the two bone. One bone is your manubrium sterni, the other bone is the cartilage of the first rib. So we call it the costoclavicular joint. First costoclavicular joint. Is it okay? And the margin is giving attachment to the capsule of the sternoclavicular joint. Then we come back to the lateral end. Lateral end is flat. It has bearing a facet. The facet is for the acromial process of the scapula to form acromioclavicular joint. Is that okay? So that is the only part of it. Now we talk about the shaft. The shaft has got medial two-third is cylindrical. It has an anterior surface, superior surface, posterior surface, and inferior surface. The anterior surface gives attachment to the clavicular head of the pectoralis major. Superior surface on the medial aspect, it gives origin to the clavicular head of the sternocleidomastoid. Posterior surface at the medial end, it gives attachment to the sternohyoid. And inferior surface it is marked by a rough impression. So this rough impression is giving attachment to a ligament called as a costoclavicular ligament. A ligament which attaches to the first rib and to the clavicle. Costoclavicular ligament. Costo. Don't to get confused with the coraco. Coraco is coracoid, costo is the rib. So this is
Yeah.
lateral part of the medial surface. You have a depression. This we call subclavian groove. Margin of the subclavian groove gives attachment to the clavipectoral fascia, whereas the actual space in the groove gives attachment to a muscle called subclavius. Now we move to the lateral one third of the shaft. Lateral one third of the shaft is flat. It has got an anterior border and it has got a posterior border. And it has a superior surface and inferior surface. So anterior border gives attachment to the clavicular head of the deltoid. Superior surface is subcutaneous, doesn't give attachment to any muscle. Posterior border gives attachment to the trapezius. And inferior surface, you have got posteriorly, you got the tubercle called as a conoid tubercle, and anteriorly you got a ridge called as a trapezoid ridge. Both gives attachment to a ligament called as a coracoclavicular ligament, which has got two parts, a conoid part and the trapezoid part. Easy. Now, one thing which you have to remember is the entire shaft, except the ends, ossifies in the membrane,
Yeah. Yeah.
whereas
And
the
the
ends
car-
ossifies in the cartilage. So thereby, you can call this is the bone which is majorly ossifying from a membranous ossification, but very small end, that is, the ends are ossifying in the cartilage. So thereby, you can also call this bone as a membranocartilaginous ossification bone. Now it has a nutrient foramen. Now look for the nutrient foramen where it is. See the inferior surface. Look for the subclavian groove. Can you see the subclavian groove? Yes.
Yeah.
Now see the lateral end of the subclavian groove. There you will see the nutrient foramen. In my case, the nutrient foramen I located here. Please see the lateral end of the subclavian groove. You will find an opening there. Can you see the opening in your bone? You see?
Yeah.
Not there.
Like
Not there.
this.
Since yours is a this what do you call, not the original bone, so not every feature will be replicated. But here you can see. See, I am coming very close. Or here I will be there. Let me zoom the camera for you. Can you see that? I can zoom further for you.
Yeah.
This is the opening which I am seeing. That is a nutrient foramen. So the nutrient foramen, when I look at it, it is directed towards the lateral end. Lateral end. So the growing end should be the opposite. So the medial end is the growing end. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
All fine. So it ossifies by two primary ossification center, I told you. So the clavicle is no applied aspect of the clavicle. Clavicle actually fractures at the medial two-third and the lateral one-third junction. Why?
Okay.
Because here it is cylindrical and here it becomes here flat. So whenever this kind of changes are happening, so this junction, medial two-third and lateral one-third junction, is the most weakest junction. Now you see, if I take this bone and try to break it like this, it will exactly break at this part. So how do we fall? How do we break our clavicle? When you fall on an outstretched hand, suppose you are falling to protect your face, by default, reflexively you will put the hand forward. So when you are falling, you see here my photo. Say I am falling like this, suddenly I'll put the hand forward here. On my camera you see. Here I am seeing.
Yeah.
So when you fall like this, the entire weight is now passing through this and goes to the ground, and ground reaction, opposite force will come back like this. And here it comes, and the weak area is the junction, it cracks. So there is a fracture of the clavicle. So when the clavicle fractures, so what happens is, now you have to fix the clavicle. So the only way to fix the clavicle is if nothing has gone between the two fracture end. Usually the artery or the brachial plexus, which is located behind, may go in between. If that is the case, you may need to operate. Otherwise, once you see that there is nothing is there in between, See, the when the fracture happen, what will happen? There will be a crack like this. So what will happen? The lateral end will be down. So lateral end, because of the weight of the upper limb, it will be down. Medial end will come out like this. So just imagine there will be a tear in the skin where medial end is coming out like this and the lateral end will be down. So the surgery, well, what we have to do, we have to press the medial end back into the lateral end, make them both align, and they use a bone stapler. And they will staple from the top end of it. So pin will go in both the ends. And then they will cover it. And there will be a plaster will be, that means you have to wear a sling around it. Because if you don't wear a sling, you keep moving like this, that end will keep dancing. The lateral end which is attached to the upper limb, right? So the sling will be given, they will be there. So this is how the fracture is held. All okay? No problem. So clavicle is sold. Did I sell the clavicle to you as a salesman?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So this is the interesting part. Once you understand the bone in this detail, now nobody can take the clavicle from you. You have learned this forever. But
Yeah.
you have to see. I'll tell you the secret of osteology. Osteology, when I was your age, what I was doing to learn the osteology, I made a hole in the lateral end of the clavicle here. A hole I made like this totally, and I passed a thread through this. In our days, a toothbrush used to come with a hole at the bottom of it, and we used to attach a tongue cleaner there with a thread. So what I did in my toothbrush, I made a hole here, pass a thread, and I removed the tongue cleaner and attached to my toothbrush. So that clavicle will always hang down. So when I am brushing, there is a long rope of thread. So I am brushing like this. I don't have to see the mirror because I know where are my denture. Then I keep this in the mouth like this, and I hold the bone in my hand, and I will study. So that way, every morning for this 2 minutes, 3 minutes when I'm brushing, I'm looking at the bone. So every time, so I'm not asking to make a hole, put all those things, but when you're brushing or when you're sitting on a commode, you may feel this is very funny, but this is how anatomy has to be studied, osteology. So when you're sitting on a commode, don't take the phone inside. Most of the younger generation, they do that. So for a change, take the clavicle inside and sit on the bone and look at the clavicle. Those 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, what you're spending on a commode, carrying out your necessary actions, look at the clavicle and just recall everything and keep the clavicle there only. Let the clavicle remain in your bathroom for some days until we finish this. Is that okay? You have to do this. So I will ask whether you have taken the clavicle to the commode or not. Because when you do that, see, to begin with, you may take 10 minutes and all, but 2, 3 times you keep taking clavicle to your commode, within 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you'll be able to recall quickly what exactly is the bone. Okay? So now
Yeah.
I will just introduce the scapula and then rest of the class will do in the evening. You can get your scapula. You have a scapula with you?
Yeah. I got it.
Okay. So before I go there, I want to show some of the things on my atlas. So let me show that part of it. In osteology, we may spend some more time. The reason is osteology is the basis. Once you know osteology very well, the soft part will become easy. Now you see that is your medial end now. Medial end and lateral end, everything you can see. Here also you can see this portion if I show you. The inferior surface. Now here you see. This is the inferior surface on the medial side. And here this is giving attachment to your costoclavicular ligament. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Whereas this is the inferior surface on the lateral end. This is what you call as a conoid tubercle. This is your trapezoid ridge. Both this will give attachment to a ligament called as a coracoclavicular ligament. Can you see the subclavian groove here?
Yeah.
This is giving attachment to your subclavius muscle. Whereas the margin will give attachment to your clavipectoral fascia. Usually red color we show for origin and the blue color for insertion of the muscle. Now here you see. So this one is our medial end. This is your lateral end. So medial end we are seeing now. This is your superior surface. So thereby, this is your anterior end. Can you make out? This is how the orientation. This is the posterior. This is the posterior part. This is here you can see the anterior part is in the front, posterior part is at the back, and we are seeing the superior surface. So thereby, on the medial end, anteriorly you got your pectoralis major. Yes.
Yeah.
Superiorly you got your sternocleidomastoid. Here posteriorly we are not able to see in this picture. And when you come to the lateral end of it, laterally, anteriorly you got anterior border, here deltoid.
Yeah.
Whereas the posteriorly you got here
Trapezius.
trapezius. And this one you see superior surface is entirely subcutaneous. There is no muscle which is attached.
Yeah.
Now you see, this is again medial end, lateral end, but this is the inferior surface what we are seeing. This is your anterior part, this is the anterior aspect, and this is your posterior aspect. What the orientation?
Yeah.
So thereby now we start again with the medial end. So here you are seeing on the medial end, this part is actually on the posterior side, this portion, this area here, sternohyoid muscle on the posterior side. Okay. This green color what is shown is your ligament. And what is the ligament called as a costo-clavicular ligament to the first rib. Now come to the inferior surface on the lateral side, you see this one. That is the insertion of a subclavius muscle. Okay. Now come to the lateral end now. Lateral end, this is your anterior part. So this one is again your deltoid only, what we are seeing from the inferior aspect. Now this one is, you see, this is the conoid part, and this is the trapezoid part of which ligament? Thoraco clavicular ligament. All okay?
Yeah.
Now see this beautiful picture. You will start falling in love with the netter once I tell you how to do it. You only will tell your mom, get me an iPad and I want to have this atlas, because you see this makes job much easier. Now look at this. This one is your sternum. So this is your medial, this is your lateral. This is your clavicle. This side is a clavicle, but it is cut just to show the inner part of it. So this one is your first rib. Can you see your first rib on both sides? This is the cartilage of the first rib. So you will call this as a rib. Other name of the rib is a costae. So thereby you can call this as a cartilage of the first rib, or you will call this as a costal cartilage. Got it? Now you see, this is the part. See this entire thing which I am drawing now. The entire thing. This is what part of the sternum is called manubrium sterni. So we can see to the manubrium sterni, the upper part, your clavicle is attached. That is called sternoclavicular joint, right? Now you see this piece, can you see there is another ligament is here? So this ligament is here, interclavicular ligament. Yes or no?
Yeah.
See, you see, we said the upper part is giving attachment to the ligament, so you see that is the upper part. Now you see, can you see there is a disc is here, the blue color? That is your articular disc. The articular disc is also attached in this part. Next part, see the lower part is down there, but upper part, nowhere it is attaching. Only this is attaching to the upper end. So articular disc is attaching along with the interclavicular ligament. Now come to the lower part of it. Now you see the lower area. Now this is the area, lower part. Can you see here? There is a joint here. That the joint is between the cartilage of the first rib and this one. So this is your costoclavicular joint. Costoclavicular joint. Following? Trisha?
Yeah. Yeah.
All okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your medial end. Now, You also see in the medial end of the shaft, inferiorly we said one more ligament was there. You remember that green color ligament on the medial end of the shaft. This is the medial end of the shaft.
Yeah.
This is your costoclavicular ligament. See the ligament and see the joint.
Yeah.
So this is the joint. This is your joint. This is the ligament which is holding this bone to attach to the clavicle. So this is the part we are seeing on the inferior surface of the medial two-third of the shaft. This
Yeah.
ligament, the green patch we have seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here also you can see this is the inferior surface of your medial surface of the shaft, and this muscle is a subclavius muscle. This part we are not doing because we are not doing the rib. We are only talking about this part. So far is all fine. Now what is this joint? Acromioclavicular joint. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a joint between the lateral end of the clavicle and the acromial process of the scapula. You are seeing the posterior view of the same joint.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
This is the X-ray showing the same thing. I wanted to show you the coracoclavicular ligament. Now you see, this is your medial end of the clavicle, cut end. This is the lateral end. Now this is what you are seeing. This is the capsule of the acromioclavicular joint. Can you see this is the coracoid process? Here, the acromial end is not seen here. That is why only we are seeing the joint here. Now what we have to see is, oh sorry, this is your, sorry. Actually you can see, this is your acromial process. See here is a coracoid process.
Yeah.
The coracoid process is here. This is your acromial process. Now you can see between them the joint, the fibrous capsule which is forming a joint. This is your acromioclavicular joint. Yes or no? Okay. Now see the ligament. Now this is the inferior surface here. Here you got this part. This is what we call as a conoid, and this is your trapezoid. So this portion you see conoid part and the trapezoid part. These are the two ligaments. So this ligament is your called as a coracoclavicular ligament because it is attached to this. Can you see? It is attached to the coracoid process.
Yeah.
Got this ligament? Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, see here. This is your clavicle again. This is the medial end of clavicle. This is the lateral end of clavicle. Agree?
Yeah.
Medial end, this is the anterior surface. You see what is this muscle?
Pectoralis muscle.
So can I say the anterior surface of the medial two-third? This is giving origin to pectoralis. Can you see?
Yeah.
This is all his origin we just mentioned there. Superior surface, can you see there is one more muscle is here? It is called sternocleidomastoid. So that is from the superior surface. This is what we call as a sternal origin. This we call as a clavicular origin. So the clavicular origin of sternocleidomastoid. Agree? Okay, now you go more laterally. So this is a junction where it is called as a medial two-third, and this we call as a lateral one-third. So in the lateral one-third, this border what you are seeing, the anterior border, giving attachment to your deltoid. Can you see this clavicular fiber of deltoid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you see posteriorly, if you go, this is the posterior border. This one is your trapezius.
Trapezius.
Making sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Now please note here, this is again your clavicle as it is. This is the medial end. This is your lateral end. Again, you can see your deltoid from the lateral end. Clavicular fiber. Again, you can see your trapezius. Anyways, here we have cut the pectoralis major. That is why you cannot see anything. It is being cut here. Now you see deeper to the pectoralis major. You see there is a fascia. You see the fascia. That fascia is what we call as a clavipectoral fascia.
Yeah.
So this is called clavicular part because you see this is attached here. Can you see a subclavius muscle here? Little shadowy.
Yeah.
This is subclavius muscle. And around this, whatever the fascia, what you are seeing, that is your clavipectoral fascia. So it attaches to the clavicle, comes down and attaches to the pectoralis minor. That is why it is called pectoralis from the pectoralis minor, clavis from the clavicle. See here now. Here is the nipple. So this is anterior, this is posterior. This is superior, this is inferior. What we have done, we have disarticulated the shoulder joint. Now look at this. So this one is clavicle. Can you make out the clavicle cut end?
Yeah.
So this one is your pectoralis major. Now in this, you please notice. Can you see a muscle here which is coming from inferior aspect?
Hmm.
That is which muscle?
From the
Subclavius.
subclavius. Yeah, right.
And around this, can you see the whitish fascia which is coming down?
Clavipectoral.
Tripectoral fascia. All okay?
Yeah.
Right? I think